Alright, so what's going on, guys? My name's Chopper. In this video, I want to talk to you guys about the super Easter egg in World War II Zombies. I looked back and realized that I haven't really spoke about this subject at all, and it's crazy because this is so important. Back when IW first came out, I was talking about a super Easter egg potential, even like pretty much as soon as Spaceland dropped. We obviously didn't know it was going to be called the super Easter egg or what it was all going to entail, but we were spitballing and kind of just putting out theories back then, and I haven't spoke about the super Easter egg for World War II literally at all, so I figured in this video we'll lay out all my thoughts and evidence and just kind of, you know, bounce some ideas off each other and see what we can come up with. But just before that, really quick, guys, if you could do me a big favor and leave a like on the video if you enjoy this, or if you find any of this interesting, that would be sick. We'll go for 750 likes, that would be awesome. And make sure you are subscribing to the channel if you are brand new. We're on that road to 100k. 100,000 will probably be here before we know it, and if you would like to help out, be my guest. I'd appreciate it a ton. But with all that stuff out of the way, guys, let's get into the main point of today's video, which is going to be what we're going to see as a super Easter egg, or, you know, whatever they decide to do with that in World War II Zombies, because this has been a topic where we don't really have, honestly, a lot to work with, and in fact, we had more to work with at the beginning of Infinite Warfare. So I don't know how many of you guys watching this video played IW as soon as it dropped, but as soon as Spaceland came out, we had ciphers talking about Mephistopheles and him being able to basically control people's souls, things like that. We had information alluding to this, and I even talked about, yo, what if, like, at the end of Infinite Warfare, when all this is said and done, maybe DLC 4 will fight the devil himself. And I said that so long ago. I need to go back and actually check the video when it was uploaded, but it was well over a year ago, and we kind of called it, I guess, in a way, but that's because we had hints and things were telling us, you know, what we can expect in the future with IW. But with World War II, I honestly, there really isn't that much. I guess the thing that I'm struggling with World War II right now is like a lack of insight into what the future is or the next upcoming maps. I guess the biggest things we have to work with right now are the Dr. Straub radios and videos. There's like little files you can collect around the map. I don't know how many of you guys have all of them, but then you can go into your menu and then sort of watch these backstory videos of Dr. Straub recording himself, where you can get audio clips from Klaus, giving you a lot more backstory onto the Final Reich and giving you a lot more insight into what's really going on. But it's not, I don't think anything is really setting up too much for the future. Now, I get it, it's only, we don't even have DLC 1 yet. At the time of making this video, the Final Reich is the only map that we have available. But even so, like I said, with Spaceland, we had a lot more information to work with just based on that. And they didn't really push Mephistopheles in the rest of the Infinite Warfare season very much until right near the end, and then that's when it all kind of came to fruition. But with World War II, there's really no setup, I feel like. I think Black Ops 3 did it really well. They had these badges on the bottom right of your map to let you know if you've done the Easter egg and collected the soul or not. And that was kind of like the indicator and marker for a super Easter egg. You know, once you go to Revelations, you have all four of them, then, hey, something big is going to happen now. Obviously, the rewards weren't that big. We get the RK5 and the Spark of Life and Rev. That's about it. And these little badges weren't in there the entirety of the game. They were patched in a little bit later, but even so, they were clearly telling us, hey, when you complete an Easter egg, you have this much done. You need to do the rest of the maps, and you're going to get something at the end. Great, we know that. That's awesome. Even in Infinite Warfare, it was pretty clear. We had this big soul chest in the day one map where we knew that we needed more keys to unlock this. That was like a theory from day one, and we knew that forever. So it wasn't a surprise when at the end, when we have all these, we go and fight the devil himself, because all of this, like I said, and what I'm trying to emphasize is this was being set up, and we had small hints leading up towards this. But in World War II, I'm failing to see any hints right now. And you want to know what else is crazy? The only, what you could call a hint or a setup that we potentially have is that little tweet from Cameron Dayton that got put out, and just look at how little attention this tweet got. So imagine if Blundell had a Twitter, if he tweeted out something that gave hints, how much that would blow up, or even Lee Ross, when he would sort of talk about something maybe more to a map, it would get spread around very quickly. But this tweet got so little attention. It's just because I don't think a lot of people, number one, know Cameron Dayton, or I don't think they really know that he's the guy to get set up with for World War II hints. But just to sit back and think about, this is all we have to really work with for a super Easter egg hint, therein lies the problem. That's my struggle with World War II Zombies. I don't know really what to look for, and they're not actively setting anything for us up. The Zombies community has always been more than glad to decipher things, pick apart every single word if you're willing to put it out there, but it doesn't seem that the developers are going in that direction. But I would say that the precedent for a super Easter egg is there. They kind of almost have to do it now, since Treyarch has set the bar and IW raised it even higher. Treyarch didn't have maybe the best necessarily super Easter egg reward for their thing, but nonetheless, it was still a factor, and they could have done something big. That wasn't really Blundell's style. Lee Ross went all out with an extra boss fight, and you get Director's cut mode, all that kind of stuff. But with Sledgehammer, we don't know what they're planning. But let's go and talk about this tweet for a second, because that is literally the only lead that we have into a glimpse of Sledgehammer's mind and what's going on there at their studio. Now, I talked about this tweet in multiple videos, but we need to get a little update because there is a lot of confusion going around by now what this means. So initially, I talked about this in my double pack-a-punch video, because that came out pretty much as soon as the information about World War II and double pack-punch was getting hot for that. So I figured I'd throw it in there just as a little tidbit. And then I had a lot of people saying that the zombies in the map speak German, so anybody who can speak it can obviously hear what the zombies are saying. That is not the case. The zombies do not speak German. And then in my next follow-up video, I made an Easter egg update to all like the unsolved things, and I even included audio clips of very clear, you can hear the zombies speaking their language how they would in the map, and it is not German. It's a mixture of like different broken like almost extinct languages, and the audio is not backwards. I get comments like that every single day, tell me to put the audio backwards. I promise, guys, it's been done before. It's not backwards. Cameron Dayton is a smart guy. He knows what he's doing with this, and this language is going to take a lot more than just putting it into a sort of video editor or whatever to listen to it backwards to solve. There's a good chance a big portion of that language is Swabian. I hope I'm saying that right. I had a lot of people reporting that that language is used around the time of Barbarossa, and it would make sense historically, so I can see them using some of that, but at the end of the day, this language is not just one straightforward clear language. It's probably a mixture of a lot of extinct languages like that, and it's just going to take, you know, somebody who's really good or multilingual to solve this. And just for instance, what if tomorrow somebody comes out and solves everything that the zombies are speaking in this map? Who's to say that that information is even necessarily really relevant, you know what I mean, to the super Easter egg? Because there's no guarantee. Some people said, I don't know if this is confirmed, but they were able to translate some words and was talking about like a church and bells and lights and stuff, and it kind of just sounds almost like the hints for the Tesla gun upgrades, which would not surprise me in the slightest if that was the case. And if that's not it, then the honest to God truth, guys, is we don't have any other sources of info that could, you know, tell us what they're planning for the future, because there's no ciphers in this. I believe there's one cipher in the trailer of World War II Zombies in the Final Reich, something like that, but I don't know if it's been solved. I honestly have no idea. But there's no ciphers in the map. There's none of that going on. Treyarch is the master when it comes to ciphers. In fact, there's like, I think 12 still left in Revelations that have gone unsolved. Of course, we have the classic ADFGX cipher Mob of the Dead. Still 3 years strong and hasn't been solved yet, and Treyarch knows they're doing with that. IW even had ciphers in a little bit of a different way, not quite as strong as Treyarch, but they still had it nonetheless, and those were the ones talking and hinting about Mephistopheles leading up to the super Easter egg, but World War II has none of that, and I'm very surprised. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm just in the dark as you guys are. I'm hoping with DLC and as we get more maps that the picture starts to become more clear about what's going to happen for DLC 4 or, you know, beyond that. I would assume that they're going to have some kind of super Easter egg and a reward. They might not go as hard as Infinity War did with the whole Mephistopheles boss fight in Director's Cut mode. I honestly don't see them taking that route. I mean, there's no like Perkaholic in World War II, so, you know, I feel like they're just going to be more low-key with it, which isn't a bad thing. I think Treyarch did it awesome with the RK5 as a little reward and stuff like that. I mean, that was cool. It was awesome stuff. But I guess right now what I want to do is bounce ideas off you guys, and I want you to comment what your ideas for the super Easter egg might be, but I also want to lay down some predictions right now so I can come back to this video and see how close I was to, you know, what actually ended up happening by the end of the DLC season. I'm going to say that by the end of DLC 4, there's going to be some kind of big showdown with Dr. Straub. I'm also going to say that maybe Klaus will be a playable character later on. I think with each DLC, they may add just a few new playable characters, like the ones that you can unlock from the challenges and stuff. I could see them doing that, and I think Klaus will end up being one of them, or maybe even Straub himself. Just keep that in mind. I think they're going to do something with characters. Now, of course, this is assuming that you have to do all the hardcore Easter eggs per each map, assuming they still do that system, which I know they will. You'll have your casual one, then your hardcore one, so I would be under the impression that you can only do the super Easter egg once you do all the hardcore quests for every single map, and then, you know, hopefully we'll be rewarded accordingly to doing so. Or maybe as a bigger reward, they might do this. You know how, obviously, we do not have double pack-a-punch yet in the Final Reich. What would you guys think about the super Easter egg is going to be unlocking double pack-a-punch in each map? So it won't be available for the DLC season until you do all the hardcore quests. And obviously, you don't really know what Double Pack-a-Punch would look like right now or what its abilities would be, but what if you had to do all of the hardcore Easter eggs in every map to unlock Double Pack in both the Final Reich and all the other maps that come out with it as well? I'm not sure how I feel about that, but that's another thing that we could throw out there as a possibility. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this, because I would love to tell you that I have a good direction on where this can go, like I did with IW and with BO3 and stuff, because it was just made a lot more sense then. They're keeping us in the dark with this, and honest to God, I have no idea what they're going to do with it. But I want to know your guys' thoughts. This is going to be a video sort of for discussion. Thank you guys very much for watching. Keeping an open mind with everybody in the comment section as well, because we're all sort of on the same page here and on the same level. Just keep the discussion respectful, because we're all on the same page here, and nobody really knows anything right now except the devs. But this is all the information that I have for you guys. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.